This is a story of two people who hold high office, the Prime Minister and the former Attorney General, both of whom did their jobs to the best of their abilities, as did their respective staff. However, a breakdown in the trust that held the relationship together occurred, and as the point person in PMO for the Attorney General, I take responsibility for that breakdown. We were told to work with the professional public service to make sure that option would be given every due consideration. He told us to keep in mind at all times that the decision to direct the DPP rests with the Attorney General and the Attorney General alone. We implemented that direction faithfully and with integrity. I was personally involved in the file on only a few occasions, but it was principally my responsibility to ensure that the Prime Minister's direction was followed by PMO staff. I have no doubt that they did so to the highest standards. So it was and is the Attorney General's decision to make. It would, however, be Canadians' decision to live with. The Prime Minister believed that this is a real and significant public policy challenge that deserves a robust and thoughtful response. At no time did the Prime Minister or anyone in the government direct or ask the Attorney General to negotiate a remediation agreement. The former Attorney General confirmed that last week to this committee. When 9,000 people's jobs are at stake, it is a public policy problem. It was our obligation to exhaustively consider options the law allows and to be forthright with people in explaining the Attorney General's decision, in order to be able to demonstrate that the decision was taken with great care and careful consideration of their livelihoods. Imagine for a moment that on September the 16th, the day the former Attorney General told this committee the decision was made, firmly and finally, that she made a public announcement to inform Canadians of that decision. What would be the rationale? In fact, I learned for the first time while watching the former Attorney General's testimony that she had made a final decision on the 16th of September. My understanding is that nobody in the PMO or PCO knew that at that time either. In fact, it is not, to my knowledge, how the law works. My understanding, which was informed by the public service and lawyers in the PMO, is that the Attorney General's power to direct the DPP extends until the time a verdict is rendered. My further understanding is that the Attorney General is free to take advice on the decision up until that point and is obligated to bring fresh eyes to new evidence. I know it from long personal experience with the Prime Minister. If something improper had been happening and that impropriety had been made known to him, the Prime Minister would have put a stop to it, even if the impropriety were his own. I deeply regret that the former minister's trust and faith in the many colleagues she served alongside for 3.5 years has eroded so much. And I take my fair share of responsibility for that state of affairs. But what is happening here is not fair to the people named in her statement. They are good, hardworking people of extraordinary talent and integrity. They care deeply about their country, and they and their families have sacrificed much so they can serve it. I suspect that, like me, they learned of the former Attorney General's specific allegations against them for the first time last week, while watching this committee's proceedings.